that. So someone did something to me a couple of days, about a week ago, a week or two ago. That just left me so upset. They just left me so peeved. I was so upset, man. I was so upset. And in the heat of my being upset, of my emotions, I started to just think of how, you know what, I'm gonna start moving in this manner towards this person. I'm gonna start conducting myself in so way towards this person. Part of me wanted to start being, it wanted to retaliate. Even though I didn't really get there, but I totally understand. And I'm sure a lot of us can relate. Like some people just do things to you where like, why? Especially when it's something you would never do to them. You never do to anyone really. And it just blows your mind and you're like, why would this person do this? What rational reason could this person have to just conduct themselves in this manner towards their fellow human being? Of all people, me. Me. But it's all good, man. But it was not good at the point in time because I was very upset. I was very, very upset. And then I had an experience a couple of days ago that kind of humbled me. And I'm gonna share what that experience is. This is almost kind of me reporting myself or telling on myself. But it's all for our learning, so I don't mind it. So a couple of days ago, I was hungry. I hadn't eaten all day, and I was like, you know what? I asked the person that was with me. I was like, do you want some wings? Like, yeah. Let's order some wings. So we looked up wings places around us. The person I was with was handling the business. I was hungry. Keep in mind, I hadn't eaten all day. I was like, I need to eat, and this was probably around like somewhere around like 7, 6 p.m. ish, 6 p.m. ish. Yeah, around 6 p.m. So yeah, the person calls up a wings place. They were placing the order right. Multiple orders, about 4 orders. Placing the orders right. So this person asks me my order. I tell her. We go from there. Order placed. Beautiful. Food is being prepared. All I have to do is now be patient. Take my time. Wait a few minutes, about 10, 15 minutes. Hopefully they call before then. Best case scenario, and we go pick up our food, or hopefully a little time elapses, and then we decide to go pick up the food, and the food is ready. We eat. The night is over. We're good, right? So we wait a few minutes. We're like, all right, you know what? Let's go pick up this food. So the person is the same person that I made the call to place the orders. Pulls up the address, sends it to me. I drive to the place. Boom. I'm like, yes, we're getting our food. I'm about to get my 12 pieces of honey barbecue wings with my chicken fried rice and some water, and then just be good. Be straight. So we get there, and we're like, yo, we're here to pick up. What's the name? We say the name. We don't have an order for that name. What's going on? We pull up we pull up the address. We came to compare it to the number we called initially to place the order. It didn't tally. Made a mistake. It happens. Life happens. All right, bet. And then I'm like, you know what? We're here. Let's just order some food, right? So I'm like, all right, bet. So we place the order, and then the other person with me is like, should we maybe call the other place where we placed the initial order from? Tell them either to cancel or we're not coming, or at least just do something. Inform them of something, at least. And I'm like, I mean, no, not really. I mean, why should we do that? I mean, it happens. That's what I said. I mean, it happens. And they're like, I mean, are you sure we could just call? You know what I'm saying? We could just call, just say we're not coming anymore. And I'm like, I mean, this is a business. I mean, first of all, as a Wings place, I'm pretty sure they're used to the idea of people placing orders and not following through and not picking up their orders. You get what I'm saying? Plus, as a responsible business, you should account for losses. These are my words. As a responsible business, you should account for losses. I'm pretty sure this year, I mean, blah, 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 blah. Said all that. long story short, we ordered the wings, or we ordered the food from the place we were at this point in time. We got our food, which wasn't being prepared ahead of the time like we would have hoped for the place we initially placed the order for. Now they had to now prepare the food as we placed the order, so that took about another 15 minutes. So, but the food was ready. We ate. Life moves on, right? And then to make matters worse, this other wings place that we called initially now calls the phone and leaves a voicemail and is like, "Oh, are y'all still on your way? We have your order ready." Blah 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 blah. And then the person that was beside me was like, they were like, "You see, they called," and I was like, I mean, but yeah, at that point in time, I kind of knew I was wrong. I kind of knew that I could have done better. I kind of knew that. I mean, things happen. I'm really not. I mean, ideally, I would place an order and go pick it up. But things happen, and I'm really not obligated to pick up an order by force. But then, I also, it's a simple act of kindness, especially to a business. As not just any business, to like a wings place. Come on. A wings place is not a conglomerate. A wings place is pretty similar to a mom and pop shop. You get what I'm saying? Their their business structure isn't probably as established to account for huge amounts of losses, especially because we had multiple orders. Each order, most of the orders being different. You get what I'm saying? This is food that this wings place has spent money on with the idea that they're gonna recoup that money back by selling the food. And now we didn't just make them make the food. Don't let me say we. I'm going to say me taking responsibility. I didn't just make them make the food, but now I made them make the food for me, tailored to my specific or our specific orders, and we just left them in the air. We didn't even do them the due diligence or the due courtesy of informing them and letting them know that we're not going to make it. I mean, stuff happens for whatever reason. We have the right to change our mind. Even though it's not ideal, but we do have the right to change our mind. But I could have at least informed them. And the voicemail they left, and the lady's voice on the voicemail was just so sweet, to be honest, and so pitiful. It was pretty, yeah, I was sad, but the hunger I was feeling overrode that sadness. And in that point in time, I didn't even give myself the allowance to really feel the effects of what I did. But thereafter, I thought about it again, and I was like, yeah, I should not have done that. I should not have done that. I could have done better. I could have done better. I could have treated them better. And then I immediately thought of the experience I had a week prior to that, of this individual that I thought did me wrong. Honestly, justifiably to me, that I thought did me wrong. And just the same way, I could not believe what they did. Even though okay, I'm not even gonna say I'm not trying to equate what they did to me to what I did to this business, or how I conducted myself in regards to these people. But that's really not an excuse, really. And that experience I had a couple of days ago kind of humbled me. It kind of made me think a little bit. I had to reevaluate myself. I had to be introspective, and it kind of put things into a new light for me. And I did feel bad, but I did decide to learn on the things I could do better and make the changes within. I know that, okay, next time, because for situations like this, I should do better. But where am I driving at, really? The truth is, if you ask me at that point in time of me refusing to call this business back, I had a very, very logical reason, very, very valid reason. A reason that even the people that were with me, or the person that was with me, probably felt. Probably a reason why they didn't even push, because they were quite adamant with calling these people back. But I just blew it off. I was just like, I mean, why? Like why? And these people did nothing to me. All they did, if anything, was just their business. And they were even kind to me to even call me and even make sure that I was coming. Because I mean, if a business did account for losses, it's one thing for them to call and be like, "Oh, your order's ready." It's another thing for them to follow up and be like, "Are y'all still coming?" You get what I'm saying? But I could have done better. And even though my reason at that point in time could have been very, very justifiable for me or to me, even though in hindsight it really wasn't. I could have done better regardless. But even though at that point in time I could have had my reasons, I also like to think of it as the same way the person that hurt me a week prior could have had their reasons for what they did. Even though whatever reasons they give me doesn't make sense, but still, everybody has their reasons for doing anything. And the same way I felt like that person could have done extremely better, could have just treated me better, even if it wasn't me, could just have, especially okay, don't let me say that. Okay, this person could have treated me better. This person could have done better. This person, like even me thinking about it now, what the person did, it just blows my mind how you could just do this to an individual, and it's just the same way that business owner could go home that night. They could still be thinking about it today and being like, it just blows their mind how somebody could just treat them this way, and how somebody could just, or because especially when it's a business like that, every little bit matters. You get what I'm saying? Like their budget is probably tight enough. It's probably tight enough. But then to now give room for extra expenses like losses and other miscellaneous expenses that you first of all you can't foresee, it could be a little harsh what I did. A lot harsh. You get what I'm saying? So I did learn from that. And that's one lesson I learned. And in me thinking about this, I I I wrote two things down. I wrote two things down. I'm gonna read them real quick. So the first one says, "No one owes you anything." This is something I had to tell myself over and over again, especially when I was healing from the wounds that this initial person, that my experience from a week ago or a few weeks ago, that first experience, especially when they did what they did, in me recovering and in me licking my wounds and in me healing myself. It's something I told myself, like, no one really owes you anything. What they did was messed up, but they don't owe me good. You get what I'm saying? And in me saying that, I'm saying they don't owe me, meaning that they are not really obligated, first of all, by anything I've done to them, and also I'm really not obligated to just readily expect someone to be good to me. I mean, by my standards of what I think an ideal human being should be towards other human beings, a key concept there is good. Yeah. But not everybody has those standards. But everybody thinks differently. But whatever she did, like I said, she could have been very, very justifiable to herself. Even though I don't think she was. But she could have been. You get what I'm saying? But she did it regardless. But I have to remind myself, no one owes me anything. Which then leads me to my second point. Even as she doesn't owe me, or this person, or no one owes me anything, everything that anybody does is kind of their cross to bear. And I'll read the second thing I wrote. I wrote, a person's character frailties, no matter how it affects you, is really their cross to bear. All you can do is make adjustments from your own end to situations where those frailties are likely to affect you. We learn and we move. See, as we say, nobody owes us anything, but then we also have a personal responsibility to protect our space and to make the adjustments we think we need to make in order to not constantly put ourselves in that situation. Even though I know that a lot of the time we could make these adjustments and then we could do everything we can to, sometimes we even go as far as to avoiding people. But this person could just find a way, because people are like that. People could just constantly find their way to just do the things they do and it just affects you. But all you can do is learn. Even if as you learn, something shows up where you even need to learn some more, that's all you can do. Learn some more, make the adjustments you need to make, lick your wounds, and keep it pushing. We learn and we move. The same way I deal in this business that I hurt, that I potentially hurt, will say to themselves, you know what? We learn and we move. Probably this not being their first experience about something like this. So they would have already had to lick their wounds multiple times across the course of their business history. The same way I had to lick my wounds and say to myself, we learn and we move. All I can do is protect myself, make the adjustments I can make from my end regarding situations where I'm constantly in a place where this person can do these things to affect me. That's really all I can do. So those were the two things I really picked up on. And it's funny because I initially planned to record this when that person first did that thing to me. And the content I was about to give was going to be different. I mean, I wasn't going to come here and just blast anybody, but it was coming from a very different perspective. And this experience that I had a couple of days ago, I definitely needed it to humble me. I definitely needed it to help me see things from a different perspective. So that's part of me learning and moving. So this, I guess, is really to encourage everybody. I guess encourage us. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes people, first of all, knowing that people don't owe us anything, people can decide to treat us anyhow. So all we can do is really make the adjustments we think we need to make on our own end to protect ourselves, and to hold ourselves to a higher standard and be more conscious of the fact that we also have a personal responsibility to treat people with kindness, to treat people how we would like to be treated, even though that's subjective in itself. But all we can do is be more conscious of how we treat people and how what we do affects people. To think things through. A lot of the time, and I understand us making decisions, especially in the heat of emotion, especially when we may personally have problems with controlling our emotions or letting our emotions engulf us. It happens. I get it. Sometimes it happens. I get it. And sometimes it may even come from things we've just learned over the course of our lives, just how we react to things or how we've been treated in the past. But we can do better. I mean, we're humans. We're humans that grow and learn and evolve. And as we learn, we also could unlearn. You get what I'm saying? So we could do better. So let's try to treat people with... Let's just be more conscious. Let's just be more conscious of how we treat people. Let's be more conscious of how our actions affect other people. Because my actions to not call this place back and cancel my order, or let them know at least that I'm not coming to pick it up. Like I said, it could have been very, very justifiable to me. I could have very good reason. I mean, if somebody asked me why I didn't call, I could say I was hungry. And everybody could definitely relate to that. Everybody knows that when you're hungry, you're probably not even thinking in your right mind. Everybody knows that when you're hungry, you probably have a less patience. The same way I wasn't patient to then drive to where we originally ordered this food from. I was like, you know what, we're here, let's just order this food. It happens. I know. I get it. Most people watching me will totally get it. But at the end of the day, there was somebody beside me who was my voice of reason. It's one thing if I didn't even think about it. You get what I'm saying? But it's another thing for that person to bring it up, that person being my voice of reason, that person being, I guess, serving the purpose of why they were there and bringing this to my attention. And I didn't do better than I should have. I didn't take that into account. I didn't show these people kindness. I didn't reflect on how my actions, and I know I didn't reflect on how my actions could affect them because I didn't reflect on how my actions could affect them. I didn't even consider the thoughts. I mean, I did kind of consider it, but I didn't consider it as to how it affects them. I really just considered it to how it affects me. Thank you guys, man. I always love when I just know when to end this on a good note, because I feel like that was a very good note to end it on. I really just thought of how it affects me, of how, and maybe that's what if whoever that the first experience I said, whatever they did to me, they could have reacted based on whatever, or on how that situation was affecting them. They could maybe they didn't think of how it affected me. They should have, the same way I should have. At the end of the day, everybody needs to do better. Everybody needs to do better. So let's look inward. Let's look inward. Let's look inward. Appreciate you all for listening, man. Have a blessed day. Bye.
relax and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to No Table Talk.